So hi guys, this is your host Anjani Kumar, and today we are coming up with a great topic on computer vision, artificial intelligence, using camera to detect suspecting devices, suspecting person, people, or any activity, and do the monitoring completely at a next level where uh, we can completely command your whole camera system with mic, a web-based application. You can monitor frames and screens and the streams from hundreds and thousands of camera directly in your software, and you are able to allow someone into a restricted area or reject his requests to enter into the restricted area. Even you are able to see and check that if the people are moving in the public area, is there a social distancing maintained, specifically if you talk about uh, the current scenario and the current world where social distancing is hyper important. There are multiple other options and example that we have shown here in this demo. Our partner team from TDB.ai, they are very young and intelligent engineers who have experimented, demoed, and already implemented this tool to couple of companies worldwide, have tried to demo and demonstrate the tool here. So in this topic today, we'll be starting with the demo first, and then I will move forward with the complete session, which also have certificate, and we are coming up with a further course, detailed course. The team, in fact, is coming up with a further detailed course on this topic, which will be launched on 5th IR shortly. So please stay tuned, stay connected with us, and watch the demo, and then
Yes.
Perfect.
obviously.
Yeah. So I am just going to run the demo, the prototype that we have built over here. So yeah, I request you to switch off your mic so that it will be easier for you to listen, like what I'm going to show you. So this is the login page of our prototype or product. You just have to get a credential over here and you just log in.
Welcome to CamSec, a smart security solution provided by TDB.ai, a computer vision domain-based organization in Indore.
Yeah, so as you can see over here is that this is the front end page of our UI, and as you can see it is performing various kind of functions over here, and whenever the persons and ex- whenever the person is detected on a restricted area, it will save the image in this way, like as you can see over here, the red line means that the person is stand on a restricted area mostly. If you want to add camera, so you just click on the speed and say go to camera setting.
Opening camera setting.
As you can see, you don't have to touch anything, just click on the speak button and it will show directly right in front of you. Now Arshil will explain like how the camera setting page has been working over here.
Hello. So as I have explained about the RSTP and the HTTP link, right? So here you can see that we have taken two types of link, RSTP and HTTP link. Now it is a dynamic product. So you can add hundreds,
So,
thousands.
adding to that, I will just like to add, people who are looking for the certificates, obviously Dipanshu will be announcing the secret code and also the method to claim the certificate on 5th IR soon. So just stay tuned, stay connected with this interesting part of the tool that the team has made. A lot of energy that they have spent, a lot of technology they have researched on, and obviously we'll be announcing it soon.
Yeah. So as the Nikhil have already explained you about that how to add the dynamic cameras in the demo part, here we have made the similar type of thing. We can add one camera, two camera, multiple cameras, and that too each camera can have a different functionality. Such as on the camera one, you only have to use the facial recognition system. So you can give the credentials of the facial recognition to the camera one. Now, if you have to use the at the camera 2, you have to use activity recognition as well as the facial recognition. So you can give the credential to camera 2 for accessing those two deep learning model as well. So this is the main part from which you can add various cameras to your system. It can be a dynamic number from one to, because at the back end we have used a multi-threading part, so it will not be too much hectic for introducing a 100 200 cameras in the system, and that too with a limited number of infrastructure or the limited number of processing power, right? Yes, Dipanshu.
Yeah, I will now go to other page by clicking.
Tell me what
Please
to
go
do.
to register.
Opening register.
As you can see over here, we just have to speak up the name over here. Like
What is your name?
Dipanshu.
What is your ID?
5.
Super, this is great.
Now that my name has been registered, I just have to go onto the green box over there, just stand over there. It will calculate my heart rate as as well as my face over. And as you can see,
Tell me what to do.
go to modify ID.
Opening modify ID.
As you can see, Dipanshu 5 face has been registered over. So thing is like how we can select this kind of area over here. So what I will do,
Tell me what to do.
go to area select.
Opening area.
As you
event.
can see, now I just have to click on the 3. How many points that I have to register over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and click on the submit. As you can see, new graph has been generated over here. It direct, the other thing it does is that whenever some kind of intruder or anything else comes into the area, it will directly save the image over here. Other thing, like as you can see, if someone is falling down on the floor or somewhere else, it will directly capture the image over here. Other thing is that if we want to shift the data to the to shift the data to the other folder, we just have to click down the move area. And the last thing it does is that
Tell me what to do.
please log out.
Logging out.
Simple as that. So this is just a demo part of our prototype. So this is just a demo part of a prototype. Like what we are trying to build, the other phase will be a difficult level. Like we are making the drone follow the people and everything and so on. So this is just the initial phase of this project. Yeah, that's it from my side.
So,
I've
hi
already started
everyone,
recording.
and welcome to our today's session of multi-cloud for you. And today we have a very young and dynamic team, and very interesting topic we are going to present. Dipanshu, Arshil, and team. So it is about the leveraging the AI and using it in terms of the intelligence, using the intelligence once you connect it with the camera, and you can it can just open a wonder of words. Anjani, can you move on to the next slide? Yeah. Yeah. So before we start, quickly I'll talk about multi-cloud for you and why we are hosting these webinars, and so far we have built up a huge community across different platforms. Or so basically at multi-cloud for you, we have a team of professional, competent and considerate and passionate engineers and data scientists, and we are into four main branches of the technology world, which is like multi-cloud for you, where we strategize everything about multi-cloud for you, about different multi-clouds, hybrid clouds. We specialize in data science and AI. We specialize in blockchain, and we specialize in extreme engineering. And we are organizing these seminars and tech sessions just to improve your knowledge overall in that given area by at least 1%. So it's a hope that today we will be able to do that as we have done in the past. Anjani, next slide, please. Yeah. So today's topic is a very interesting one where we'll talk about building AI tools for modern security problems. And Dipanshu, Arshil, and Nikhil will talk in detail about it. Let's go through their introductions quickly. So the first is Dipanshu, who is basically an Intel Edge AI scholar, and he is a technology expert in computer vision and video analytics, and he's a very distinguished engineer. Has a lot of articles on different technology forums, and he's basically into cognitive intelligence, and he is also the founder of TDB Technologies. With him is Arshil Singh Bhatia. Arshil is also, an expert in deep learning and computer vision, and he is working along with Dipanshu in TDB Technologies, and he has worked on different stacks of the AI, which include all Docker, web, AWS on the cloud, and he has special expertise in PyTorch. And like Dipanshu, he's also a computer vision enthusiast as well as an expert. And with them, we have Anjani, please, the next slide. Yeah, so we have Nikhil Mankani, who is also a web AI enthusiast, and he has specialized on the different AI frameworks and web development. And specifically, he has worked before I hand over to the Pancho and team, I just wanted to quickly talk about some ground rules. So it's a request that you please type your all queries in the chat window, and we'll make sure that we answer the queries either during the session or towards the end of the session. So it's over to Dipanshu and team. All yours, Dipanshu.
Yeah, thank you, Bhaskar, for the introduction and engineering as well. So, without wasting any more time, I would probably start now. So, Sanjani, can you please stop? Yeah, so basically who we are. Let me just talk you brief about ourselves. We are a team of computer vision engineers of 15 people who basically about what is computer vision and how it is helpful for the uh, market and so on. So for this session, we introduce some tools which helped us to build our own prototype. So the agenda of today's session is first the problem. Like we will discussing about the problem, what problem is currently going on the market, and what kind of challenges they have that we are facing right now, like through. Other thing is we are going to talk about the demand, like what market is expecting from the AI engineers, like how the tools needs to be upgraded. The third one which we are going to talk about, that the tools which have we have used to build our prototype named CAMSEC. So the tools includes. The next topic that we are going to discuss about is a short demo, like how you can run, like integrate OpenCV, Docker, and Django with Docker and make a complete OS or say application. Solution. So what is the problem in the market right now? As you can see, the problem everywhere holds on to the manual marketing. Like if someone is trying to steal something or do something unnecessarily and monitor things like for two camera, one camera and so on, but it is really hard to manually monitor for more than 100 number of cameras, even I can say 50. Like if someone has built a product or package or something and so on,
Hey,
then it
Dipanshu,
is.
we are losing you
Yeah.
in between. For a moment, there is a pause, and that's like happening again and again.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're audible now.
Thank you. Yeah, so the problem in market, like manual monitoring, is the main problem over here. The other solution, like if you buy a packet of chip or any say snacks, so how we can detect that whether the packet is good packaged or not, but how machine to let machine do this kind of things by them. The other one is non-actionable system, like we human found any problem over in any area like packaging and so on, we directly got call the on how AI can help us to build this kind of solution. And other thing is, due to COVID-19, you already know the touching objects, like people are scared to touch any kind of object. So how AI can be helped to things to be automated, they want things to be reliable, they need their data to be secure completely, as well as they want a user friendly interface. Like most of you have watched some videos, like some build suit like Iron Man, but why? Because of the user interface, like how the thing is showing, like it is easier for any user to visualize and understand each and everything. So that's what the user want. So how AI is helpful over here? So from this one, my colleague Mr. Ranjit Singh Bhatia will have.
Hello. Hello. Am I audible? Just tell me about that.
Yes,
Hello.
you're audible.
Okay. Yeah. So from here, I will take over. So first is manual monitoring. So as Dipanshu has already discussed about, if there is a fluctuation in between, just let me know about the network issue. Then if there will be a fluctuation, right? Okay. So here we are talking about the manual monitoring, right? So what is the manual monitoring? Manual monitoring means the problem is basically the manual monitoring. Now manual monitoring, to overcome that, we have just automated whole thing. Now how we have
Sorry, Arshit,
automated
but
whole
your
thing?
Your voice is breaking.
Yes, this same thing is happening from
Okay.
your side as well. I have already told that if this situation will happen, that you can just write on the chat. So I will just pause there, right?
Yeah, yeah. But a little better. Yeah, just be slow. Yeah, and I think
Okay, right.
just be
So
slow, and you will be able to manage. And put your mic a little away from your
okay, okay,
mouthpiece.
okay,
It will be much
okay,
better.
okay,
Let it be natural. Let it hang out where it is.
okay, 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 right.
Now it's good. Yeah.
So in automation of the thing, what we have done, we have first introduced, as this is a COVID-19 situation, so social distancing is a main problem. So we have introduced the social distancing. We can automate that whole process, the social distancing process, right? The another thing is loitering is basically what is, if the person is just moving into the premises with no other thing, then we can have a issue that he is not the person who just only wanted to have something, but he wanted to do something else. So it is a loitering monitoring, right? Another is mask and non-mask detection. So it can be also automated through the machine learning and deep learning models. Another is weapon detection. So if you wanted to do some, if you wanted to detect a weapon, so that can also be automated through the deep learning models. So AI tools can also help in making the security to this purpose. Now, next is intruder detection. Now, what is intruder detection? In certain industries, there are some area where which is said to be as a restricted area, so you cannot go to that area. So if any person will go to that area or cross the line of that area, then it is said to be as an intruder. So for that, we can also automate the things. We can also automate the monitoring system, right? Another thing, if there is a campus and we have to just, if any person is walking and he just fall down, so we can get the alert for the falling as well. And another is a facial detection. So this is how we have automated the things. This is how the AI tools can automate the things. Next slide. So here is product monitoring. Now in production level, when there is a production and assembly line, so here we have taken a base example because the time is not too much. So here, what is the product monitoring? Product monitoring is basically if you have a package and package is basically destroyed package, right? So you can get the alert for that, or the package will automatically go away, right? So this can also be monitored by the AI, right? So next slide. Now, this is basically actionable AI. Now, what is actionable AI? Actionable AI is basically if our computer will recognize something, it just performs some actions. Now, what can be the actions? The action can be giving alerts through email, giving alerts through message, or we have made some Android application and integrated it with our web application or anything. So through the API, we can get the alert. So actionable AI is something, if you have some intruder, if you have some unknown person, then it can automatically handle and get the things from that level, right? So next slide. Hello. Next slide, Dipanshu. Right. So non-touchable system, as this is totally a situation, a pandemic situation. So this is the main topic, non-touchable system. Now, non-touchable system basically help us to doesn't touch to any hardware or a software or hardware, and just only do the thing automates by just talking to the system. So this can be done by the AI bots, as well as there are some predefined AI. If you are working for a small project, so there are some predefined APIs through which you can just automate your model. So here, what we can do, we move from one page to another page for just non for just speaking to our system, or we can do the operations. If you wanted to perform certain operations, then we can talk to the system and tell, just like an Alexa, how the Alexa is working. So if we talk to the Alexa, he or she will tell us that what things we have to do, right? So this is a non-touchable system. Means we do not have to touch the system, and the system will automatically recognize our voice and do whatever we want, right? So next slide.
Harshit have explained you like how the technology is getting ubiquitous day by day, but how it is possible. These are possible some using some tools for the web framework, for the deep learning, as well as the OS, as well as some camera showing techniques. So the first one is deep learning. Work capable of learning unsupervised from the data which is unstructured as well as labeled. Like what deep learning is, like whenever you tell yourself like this is an apple and this is an orange, when you first read it you don't like this is apple and this is orange, and in the similar way machine learns from the data. We know how to take the data. Most of the you have heard about the data science and statistics and so on, but how to use it, like how it helps to chair or person and so on. So using deep learning we can do such kind of scenarios easily.
Repeat, Dipanshu, you will have to repeat the few words because I think you are losing in the middle suddenly. Just try repeating again. Oh, so guys, will have to bear with us. I think he's trying to change his Wi-Fi. We'll come back online for sure.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Can you
it's
hear me now?
better.
Okay,
It's
perfect,
better.
perfect.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, so basically what is deep learning? As you already know, deep learning is a subset of machine learning and artificial intelligence that unlabeled. Like how we would know like this is an apple or this is an orange. We take the images of apple and orange, and in our mind we take our senses to learn it like this is an. We have used libraries like TensorFlow, Keras, Caffe as a deep learning tools to achieve results which helps to make machine identify things by itself without telling them like this is object, this is face, and so on. Say some more research on it as well as the discussion on it on our classes which we are going to launch soon. But currently I can tell you like we have used TensorFlow, Keras, Caffe as a deep learning tool. What is TensorFlow, Caffe, and Keras? Like when you activate a neural network,
So we are losing you a lot, and then you are becoming fast. So I
kind
think
of
there is
libraries.
some problem with your Wi-Fi.
Can you hear me
So
now?
that's why Aswarya is also asking. We are
Hello.
able to hear you, but we are losing in middle. We are losing in middle. We are losing you a lot in middle.
Yeah, no worries. Arshil.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. As Dipanshu already told about the deep learning models, that how we can use the deep learning. So he has explained about the three platforms. One is TensorFlow, Keras, and Caffe, right? So Caffe, we have basically worked on the Caffe because I personally prefer Caffe because it is much more faster. So it is basically worked upon the C++ because backend is totally depending upon the C++. So this TensorFlow, Keras, and Caffe are the models which can help for the object detection, for the image classification, and many other object detection models. So in that TensorFlow and Keras, we can build models as well. The models can be YOLO, the models can be faster RCNN, the models can be mask RCNN. So these are the models which we can build on each and every platform. It can be TensorFlow platform, it can be Keras platform, or it can be a Caffe platform, right? So the deep learning also helps in automating the things, right? For the object detection, we are basically using the deep learning, and these are the models which we are using, right? So next slide. Now the web framework. Now, web framework is basically if we have the deep learning model which has been working on the server for showing the outputs, for showing the alerts using the Ajax, for asynchronous JavaScript, for using the asynchronous JavaScript, for not loading the page, we have been using the web frameworks, right? So here we have used web frameworks such as a Django, Flask. You can also use another web frameworks, but personally we are using a Django and a Flask because they are more compatible with the Python programming language, right? We have used JavaScript, we have used Ajax, which is a asynchronous JavaScript, because there are certain tasks, because in deep learning you are playing with the frames, right? Once you have started the frames, you cannot reload the page. So if there is a scenario where you cannot reload the page and asynchronously you have to take the data, then you have to use the Ajax. Now these are the certain technologies on which we have worked for the as a web framework. So this can be helpful in the building a deep learning model and showing that model. Next slide. Hello, Dipanj. Next. Yes. So OpenCV, as most of you are familiar with the OpenCV. So OpenCV is basically the image processing and image computer vision library means it is basically the computer vision library. It is the heart of computer vision, because if you have an OpenCV taking out the frames, showing the frames, doing certain manipulations, doing certain resizing operations, this whole and everything are been working through the OpenCV. And OpenCV is also having a DNN module to which you can also load some deep learning frameworks to the OpenCV. So it has been very much helpful in the deep learning, and we can also make the process faster. So next thing is Docker. Now this is the most important thing. After this slide, we are been presenting a live demonstration about how these things have been working and how the Docker has been helpful for just making the things containerized. Because each and everything nowadays is we have to think about the version control, right? So each and everything should be dependent on each other. So for that thing, we have used Docker. In the next slide, towards next slide, the Nikhil Mankani will help you, will tell you about the live demonstration that how we have used all those things in together. Yes, Nikhil.
Yes, hello. Can you please stop sharing?
Sure.
Okay. So, can you all see my screen?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you are able to view the VS Code.
Yes.
Yeah. So as Arshil has explained that we use Django because it is compatible with Python, which is very true because when you run Python models, so it is better to choose a framework which is compatible or written in Python. So this is a basic Python project that we have already built because we are not having much time so that we can start from the scratch. The project name is TDB demo. So when you build a project using the Django admin command, you already get a project with a sub folder named same to the project name, which contains the most important files like the settings.py file and all the VSGI file. VSGI file is basically when you host the application to the web, you need to configure the VSGI file. And other than that, other things are deep knowledge about the Django, so it cannot be explained here. And other thing that you get with the project is the db.sqlite3 database. It is basically a database which stores the information uh, given in the application, like the models you create, whatever you want to save is stored in the db.sqlite server or database. And the other thing is manage.py. This is the most important file that you will find in a Django project because it is the file which is responsible in running the Django project. And also it is the most important file using which you can make models, migrate models, and perform various things. So now we will be discussing some very basic files of Django, which will not like make you a Django developer, but it will at least build a base for you. So the first file we are ignoring settings.py file because it is a bit complicated. We'll start with urls.py file. So basically, this file contains what your URL will have. Like here we have empty path because this contains the app1 URL. Now, what is app1? App1 is basically the app where we can have models. Now, models are what we have in the database. So for creating the models, we need to have an app, and we can just create an app using Django admin again or inside the folder. Then this states that we are connecting the URLs of app1. When you move to the URLs of app1, you finally find something which is that. Okay, so when you see in the URL video feed slash, and we will cover this str address later when we go to the HTML part. For now, when you go to the video feed part in the URL, it asks what you want to show, like what is to be shown in the page. For that, it moves to the second argument, which is views.videofeed1. Now here the views.py file comes into picture. What is views.py file? Now views.py file is something which is without which you cannot actually run an application. So for now, consider this. For now, considering this URL, the one which is at the top, which states that whenever there is a slash, the basic path, the first path, that we have to go to the index function of the views.py file. So when we go to the views.py file, under the index function, we see render, return render, request, and app slash home.html. Now what is home.html? Home.html is our HTML file which is present in the templates folder. So inside the templates folder, we have an home.html file which will be rendered. Like whenever you whenever you go to the URL which is calling this index function, you will be rendered this page, right? So we will look into that page later. Now, so this completes the views.py file. This is basically that it has functions which are linked with the URL mentioned here, like views.videofeed1. Then when we go to the views, we also see some functions which you might feel a bit odd, which we will explain after the HTML file is explained. These functions are basically like related to computer vision. So this will be explained by Arshil sir. But first we will have a look at the home.html file. This is a basic HTML file which is containing some things. Now we have also used JavaScript here to fill in the SRC, like the fill in the SRC of this image dynamically, because we are having, when you see the UI of the page, you will come to know why we have used JavaScript, and we will also let you know where this part has been come. And here we are entering the URL like video feed 2 and all that. This URL will link to the urls.py file. Just a second. urls.py file. Here it will come to video feed 2. Now comes the part, why is this str address being written here? Str address is basically what else you want to pass with this URL up into the views.py function so that it functions according to this address. So suppose we are passing address of this URL. Like what is the URL? We are passing it from here, right? URL is what we enter in the text box. We are taking that URL and passing to this view video feed 2 function. It will go to the URLs here, which says that we need to go to the video feed function 1 and also pass this address. When it comes to video feed 1, there is address we are accepting here. And then we create a URL and then we function accordingly to the camera.py. So from now here on, Arshil sir will explain you how the camera.py functions. Arshil sir, please.
Hello.
Yeah.
So we have our main objective for this particular demonstration is basically to tell that how we can integrate a deep learning model with the Django part, right? Because many of you are been familiar with the deep learning and many of you are familiar with the Django, but integrating those parts is much more difficult, and people, like many of the people, are not knowing about this part, right? So as Nikhil has already told you about how the Django has been working, what are the apps which are being used in the Django, what are models.py, what are urls.py, what are the views.py, right? Now, as from the views.py, when the function has been called, So it comes to camera.py. Now here main picture comes into the right. So here you can see that here all the deep learning code, the deep learning code which you have written, all the deep learning code can be introduced in this part, camera.py. Here you can see that we have used IAMutils, we have used some libraries like CV2, we have used NumPy, we have used Django, and we have used import time, right? So first in line number 8, we have introduced, we have made the object of Har Cascade. Now many of you are not familiar with the Har Cascade, but the person who has having a hands-on experience on computer vision are been familiar with what is Har Cascade. So Har Cascade is basically a machine learning approach for the object detection, right? It is a very basic approach, very down to earth approach, but at the same time, it is not giving that much accuracy for the real-time scenario. But this is a small demo, so we have introduced Har Cascade file, right? Because if you are familiar with integrating the Har Cascade file, you can integrate any Caffe model, any TensorFlow model in a one go, right? So here first we have introduced an Har Cascade file. We have made the object of the Har Cascade file in line number 8. Now, from views.py, we have call a class which name as views.py. We have called a class name as IP webcam and pass a URL. Now the URL can be of two types. When you are working with the real-time scenarios, the URL can be of two types. The URL can be HTTP link URL and RSTP link URL. Because when you go to the real-time scenario, when you have to deploy this deep learning model to a larger area, there you will go through the RSTP links, the RSTP URLs. So once that RSTP URL has been passed through view.py in line number 20, it will go to camera.py. Right?
Arshil, you are trying to say that RSTP URL are the URLs which are specifically the URL where the camera is streaming, right? And,
Yes,
and
yes.
you are able to, and your code is
No,
able to capture
actually,
those streams, right?
actually,
Yes.
it is not just the camera streaming. RSTP links are basically when it is related to CCTVs mostly.
CCTV, yeah.
Yeah,
CCTVs, because when we
yeah,
want a feeds from that CCTV, we wanted two
Yeah.
types of links. Some provide an HTTP link, some provide the RSTP link. If the person is been using this model, he can also use IP webcam Android application. So from this, he can generate an IP link for his mobile.
From his
Can
camera,
integrate
from his mobile camera, right?
from his mobile camera and can
yeah. Just
integrate
we are
all those
showing
things.
that only. We are going to show
Yeah.
that
So
only in the live.
We
yeah,
are
so that's what I said. So it's called streaming. So either you're using RSTP link or HTTPS link, you are
yes.
getting the capturing the streams which are coming from camera. So anything which is going live, you are able to stream that, you are able to capture that out, and then now you are resizing the image and then trying to
Yes.
go beyond that.
So here in the line number 19, as you have, as we got the URL, we start the capturing. Yes, from the video stream, src equal to URL and start. We can do this by the OpenCV also, cv2.video capture. But the OpenCV is quite slow as compared to the IAMutil. So we have used IAMutil so that we can get a higher speed there, right? For in the next, we have used getFrame. So getFrame is basically, it is the function which has been introduced in view.py. It has been working regularly. So it is just working. It is a while loop which is true for each and every scenario, and it will take the frames, right? So Nikhil, move to camera.py.
Yeah, one more thing to mention here. It is yielding the frames, which means it won't just return the frame. It will keep on yielding. Means it won't. This function won't end at any cost. So it will yield each and every frame, and it will display the frames. Yeah.
So why we are using a loop which is not ending loop? Because here we are working with the videos, and videos is a continuous frame. So we want each and every frame. And we have used IAMutils instead of CV2, because when we use CV2, it just gives a problem of camera tempering, right? Camera tempering is basically stucking of camera at one point and just showing the errors. But with the IAMutils, it just be 10x faster as compared to the CV2, right? So in line number 37, it is a quite a bit easy code. We have converted our image to grayscale. Now this is one process for decreasing the computation cost, right? For changing our BGR image to the grayscale image, right? After that, we have just detect multi-scale. Now this is one very important part of R Cascade. In line number 37, detect multi-scale. Now the detect multi-scale takes three parameters. First is the grayscale image. You can see on line number 38. First is a gray image. Now another is a scale factor. Now the scale factor is one most important thing which each and every person should understand what is a scale factor. Scale factor is basically at what particular step you have to, how much you want to compress the image, right? So you are providing it 1.3. 1.3 means you have to decrease image by 30% and then applying the detection over that image, right? If you apply 1.05, then it will decrease the image for 5% and then applying the detection over that. Now if you are applying 30% decrease in the image, so the speed is fast but the detection is quite not good. But if you apply 1.03 or the 3% decrease in the image, then it automatically decrease the speed but increase the accuracy. So this is a vice versa. You have to take the scenario and apply the scale factor over there, right? And another is a minimum neighbor. So minimum neighbor is basically if you are being detected, if any person has been detected in the face, so it just applies some some neighbors, thresholding neighbors around that, so that it can get more accurate results for that person, right? Now another thing, as we got output from the detection multi-scale, we got four outputs. First is XY, that is the point where the face is being captured. Another is W and H, the height and width of that image, the height and width of that object, right? After that, you have got one point and you have got the height and the width. Now the next point is making the rectangle on that image. So we have made a rectangle on line number 40, cv2.rectangle. Here we have given all the things in that and we have got the rectangle. Now flipping out the image means basically when you return frames from the camera.py, it just been flipped out. So for reversing that image, we are been using the flip part. It will flip the image through 180 degree and just throw to the views.py. There it is flipped once again to get a better result, right? And after that, the result is been taken to the views.py. So this is the whole process how we can integrate a Django with OpenCV. So this is very small project, but it is a basic building block that if you understand this whole architecture, you can also deploy the TensorFlow and the Caffe model as well on the place of this har cascade file, right? So next.
Yeah. So we will now be showing you a live demo. This lines, as I mentioned, how powerful manage.py is. So this line specifies that now we need to run a server which will be on the local host. So this is also another amazing thing of Django, that it provides its own server, which also helps us in providing data security. Like most of the clients nowadays tell that we don't want to transfer our data through the cloud. Now that is actually a sensible thing, because nowadays hackers are too more powerful and it is easy to enter any database and leak the things. So having your own database on the local system is nowadays very required, which Django satisfies. So we'll now be running this on a local server. So can you see the screen to the browser?
Yes.
Yeah, so as you can see, we have a UI. Now, now I have two of my mobiles running IP webcam, which is basically used for streaming your mobile feed camera to the wherever you want. It is basically on cloud. So we are caching there from there and we are displaying over here. Now I will simply add my IP address of the IP camera, which I have got. Okay. So as you can see, it has started streaming, and I will also put up another camera. So it basically will let you know that we have multiple functioning cameras. So here we go. It is basically twisted. So we bear it for now. And you can see the box around my face, which also specifies that this is the face detection model, which is being running in the camera.py. So as also you can see now we will let you explain the flow. So from there, it is basically two functions we have made for two different cameras. First, it is going here in the urls.py. First, it is basically now you know what we rendered. Like when we rendered a HTML page here, which is home.html, it will go to home.html and it will go to just a second, it will go to this image. Now we have specified that whenever you enter in the input box here and you press the submit button, which is this one, a camera one or two function will be called respectively. When the camera one function is called, we get the URL which is there, which is what we got in the input box, and we put it in the src of the camera one image that we are specifying here, and it will go to video feed 2, right? So then we move to video feed 2, and video feed 2 is also having requesting an address, which we also passed in here, this URL. So it will move to video feed 2 and it will call a function which is video feed 2 in the views.py. It will come to video feed 2. It will check what is the address we got. And because we have made this project only for the IP webcam, that is basically not RSTP link. So it will just put this address and it will create an instance of the IP webcam 2. So it will go to camera.py. In the IP webcam 2, it will create this instance and it will also pass the URL. So from here, it has started streaming the video feed that we are receiving. And then it will go again here because we have passed this camera in the function generate2. Now it will go to generate2 and it will capture the camera here. While true, which is the infinite loop, it will get each and every frame for it. Like camera with the camera class, you are calling the get frame function, which is this one, and it will put a time dot sleep. Now this time dot sleep is introduced here because sometimes it happens that when two multiple cameras are running, it overlaps the feed which is it is receiving and it gets a bit confused. So then it will call get frame, and whatever it is finally getting a frame, it will yield here, and it will this type content of multipart type is basically it is displaying the frame one by one. So this will be displayed in the image field. Now you must be wondering why haven't we used a video tag here, which people are kind of familiar with HTML. So they might be wondering why used image and not video feed. So to clear the doubt, we haven't used video feed because it is not feasible for it to process, like to convert a video to image and then apply machine learning models on it would cost a bit more time and it wouldn't be feasible. So instead we have used image. After all, a video is a continuous running of frames. So it is good that we have used image here. Then finally it will be returning frame, and in the first camera, as you have mentioned, that we are detecting face, and you can see a blue box around my face which states that it is a face being detected. So I think now you must be a bit familiar. You might think that it is a very basic thing we are explaining here, but it is a building block for you to become maybe future web developers or future computer scientists, like data scientists and many things, because it starts from the basic. Yeah. So now Arshil will explain about some brief about Docker, like some theory and what is Docker. Yeah.
Hello. This is a very great topic, and why I am very much interested in talking about the Docker. So what is Docker? So Docker is basically a company which helps you to create a container, right? Now, what is containers? What is VM machines, virtual machines? There are a bit confusing terms in real time, but virtual machines, and the basic difference between the virtual machines and the container is the virtual machine applies the isolation on the infrastructure level. Suppose you have a infrastructure or set or say as your server or your laptop with a 12 GB of RAM, right? And if you have to apply 3 applications, and if you have to apply 4 or 5 applications, and one application requires use 3 GB of RAM, right? So you can only deploy 3 applications on that virtual machine. But if you are talking about, so there is an isolation at the infrastructure level. You have to isolate at the infrastructure level, right? But what about the Docker? So Docker is basically a new process, a new means idea from a company which is a Docker for the containerizing those applications. Now the containerizing those applications will apply the isolation as the process level. So here the isolation will help on process level, and in the virtual machine the isolation will be at the server level or at the infrastructure level. Now why Docker? Why I have introduced this thing apart from this OpenCV machine learning and detection? Because Docker helps in underlying OS. Means if you have built some application on the Linux based system, and if you wanted to deploy those application on the Windows based system, the Windows based kernel, so sometimes the applications are not means compatible with the kernels. So Docker helps in providing the compatibility with various OS, right? This is the first step why we have used Docker, right? Another thing, if a product is working on various services such as MongoDB, such as Node.js, such as Angular, and if those applications are working on different libraries, different dependencies, but if there is a metrics issue, now what is the metrics issue? If one application has a Python version of 2.5 and one application is having a Python version of 3.5, now it has been a contradicting part, means they do not correlate with each other. At that region we are using a Docker, because Docker makes a containerized isolation for each and every application. So you can have the container for the Node.js, you can have the container for the React.js, you can have the container for the Angular.js, you can have the container for the MongoDB. They are working on in their containers, but are connected to each other through the Docker engine, right? Now, next thing is why we have used Docker. Now, take a scenario where you are having an application which is on a bit lower version. Now the version has been increased, right? So here the Docker can help you to have a version control. So basically the Docker helps you to create a version control. Means version is been controlled if you are building any application, if you are making a product a Dockerized image, right? Now here one thing which is bit confusing is what is image and what is the container. Now if you are familiar with the Java or any of the programming language, right? So there are two things, classes and object. Now what the teacher told us, what are classes? So classes is basically the blueprint, right? And what are the objects? So objects is basically the instances. Instances is basically the examples. So here the image is the blueprint and the container is the instance, or we can say the example, right? So when you build an image for a application, for a project, when you run that project, it automatically creates the containers out of that image, right? So why we have used this Docker, I have explained bit about that for the version control we have used Docker, for the compatibility of libraries and the dependencies we have used Docker, right? And for the isolation at the process level, because if you are using virtual machine at each and every time, you need to have a greater architecture, you need to have a greater infrastructure, right? If you have to run hundreds and thousands of applications, so you do not have 100 and 200 GBs of RAM, you only have 12 GB of RAM, right? But in the Docker part, the infrastructure is free. You are containerizing the image at the process level. The process level contains the dependencies as well as the library, and it basically works upon the Docker engine. So Docker engine is something which helps to create the Docker image, right? So this is a quite a great topic, which Nikhil will explain you that how we can make the Docker image, how we can run the Docker image, because the project which we have seen, it is a simple project, a simple Django project. Now, how we can make the Docker file, how we will generate, how we will build the image, how we will
Arshil,
build the container.
I would suggest we can go on a demo because we are
Yes, yes,
little
yes. Right.
less on time. And then what
Yes.
we can do is like in the meanwhile, for the detail,
Yeah,
you guys are
yeah,
obviously
for
coming with a
the
complete training,
Okay.
right? So you guys are coming with a complete training that will be live on 5th IR soon. So there you can explain it in a very detailed way. But I believe that if you can also show the users the demo, that the great tool that you guys have built based on Django, Docker, all the data science tool that you have used, that will be great. And then we'll move to the
yeah.
certification
So
part.
yeah. So what Arshil have explained you until now, we are going to show you the complete book of what we have made using this kind of technologies. I am sorry to say this, but the thing is that in just 40 minutes, it was really hard for us to explain all this kind of technologies. That is the reason we are coming up with the tutorials, or say the courses, for like how to build this kind of solution, how we can build some kind of solution to make AI to be powerful and so on for the market. So without
And you
wasting
are
any time,
also, and you guys are also helping like the people who come to the tutorial. You will also be giving them what to say, live use cases to work with you, right? So they can
yeah.
be
So
yeah.
yeah, mostly our session will be based on the practical, not the theoretical, because from theoretical we already know like how neural
Yeah.
network works and so on. We will be focusing on the real time market problem solution. So without wasting
Yeah.
any time, Nikhil, could you please stop sharing your screen?
Yeah, sure. I've stopped it.
Yeah, just hold on. So guys, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah. So I am just going to run the demo, the prototype that we have built over here. So yeah, I request you to switch off your mic so that it will be easier for you to listen, like what I'm going to show you. So this is the login page of our prototype or product. You just have to get a credential over here and you just log in.
Welcome to CamSec, a smart security solution provided by TDB.ai, a computer vision domain-based organization in Indore.
Yeah, so as you can see over here is that this is the front end page of our UI, and as you can see it is performing various kind of functions over here, and whenever the persons and whenever the person is detected on a restricted area, it will save the image in this way, like as you can see over here, the red line means that the person is standing on a restricted area mostly. If you want to add camera, so you just click on the speed and say go to camera setting.
Opening camera setting.
As you can see, you don't have to touch anything, just click on the speak button and it will show directly right in front of you. Now Arshil will explain like how the camera setting page has been working over here.
Hello. So as I have explained about the RSTP and the HTTP link, right? So here you can see that we have taken two types of link, RSTP and HTTP link. Now it is a dynamic product. So you can add hundreds,
So
thousands.
adding to that, I will just like to add people who are looking for the certificates. Obviously, Dipanshu will be announcing the secret code and also the method to claim the certificate on 5th IR soon. So just stay tuned, stay connected with this interesting part of the tool that the team has made. A lot of energy that they have spent, a lot of technology they have researched on, and obviously we'll be announcing it soon.
Yeah. So as the Nikhil have already explained you about that how to add the dynamic cameras in the demo part, here we have made the similar type of thing. We can add one camera, two camera, multiple cameras, and that too each camera can have a different functionality. Such as on the camera one, you only have to use the facial recognition system. So you can give the credentials of the facial recognition to the camera one. Now if you have to use the at the camera 2, you have to use activity recognition as well as the facial recognition. So you can give the credential to camera 2 for accessing those two deep learning model as well. So this is the main part from which you can add various cameras to your system. It can be a dynamic number from one to, because at the back end we have used a multi-threading part, so it will not be too much hectic for introducing a 100 200 cameras in the system, and that too with a limited number of infrastructure or the limited number of processing power, right? Yes, Dipanshu.
Yeah, I will now go to other page by clicking.
Tell me what
Please
to
go
do.
to register.
Opening register.
As you can see over here, we just have to speak up the name over here. Like
What is your name?
Dipanshu.
What is your ID?
5.
Super, this is great.
Now that my name has been registered, I just have to go onto the green box over there. Just stand over there. It will calculate my heart rate as as well as my face over. And as you can see,
Tell me what to do.
go to modify ID.
Opening modify ID.
As you can see, Dipanshu 5 face has been registered over. So thing is like how we can select this kind of area over here. So what I will do,
Tell me what to do.
go to area select.
Opening area.
As you can see, now I just have to click on the tree. How many points that I have to register over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and click on the submit. As you can see, new graph has been generated over here. It direct, the other thing it does is that whenever some kind of intruder or anything else comes into the area, it will directly save the image over here. Other thing, like as you can see, if someone is falling down on the floor or somewhere else, it will directly capture the image over here. Other thing is that if we want to shift the data to the data to the other folder, we just have to click down the move area. And the last thing it does is that
Tell me what to do.
please log out.
Logging out.
Simple as that. So this is just a demo part of our prototype. So this is just a demo part of a prototype, like what we are trying to build. The other phase will be a difficult level, like we are making the drone follow the people and everything and so on. So this is just the initial phase of this project. Yeah, that's it from my side. Live phase has been registered over. So thing is like how we can select this kind of area over here. So what I will do,
Tell me what to do.
go to area select.
Opening area.
As you
again.
can see, now I just have to click on the tree. How many points that I have to register over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and click on the submit. As you can see, new graph has been generated over here. It direct. The other thing it does is that whenever some kind of intruder or anything else comes into the area, it will directly save the image over here. Other thing, like as you can see, if someone is falling down on the floor or somewhere else, it will directly capture the image over here. Other thing is that if we want to shift the data to the to shift the data to the other folder, we just have to click down the move area. And the last thing it does is that
Tell me what to do.
please log out.
Logging out.
Simple as that. So this is just a demo part of our prototype. So this is just a demo part of a prototype, like what we are trying to build. The other phase will be a difficult level, like we are making the drone follow the people and everything and so on. So this is just the initial phase of this project. Yeah, that's it from my side.
This is great. So if you can announce the speaker code
Yeah.
and how to take the certificate. So you can go on
Yeah.
the fifthir.com. Just try to navigate to fifthir.com.
And the speaker code is TDB AI.
So can you explain, like, this is all in capital, right? So TDB is the
AI.
company name, right? TDB AI, artificial intelligence. T for telephone, D for dump, B for Bombay, A for artificial, I for intelligence. TDB AI, all in caps. So to take the certificate, you can go on to fifthir.com and then you can claim the certificate.
And yeah, for the detailed version of like how this technology is working and so on, we are coming up with a course in 10 days, like how to build this kind of technologies. We will be focusing more on the practical instead of the theoretical part. Like you already know the theoretical part, but most of the people don't understand how this thing is working on the real life scenario. So we will be taking the real life projects every single session, like how to build a complete smart solution.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have any queries, you can just directly ask on the chat.
Yeah. So guys, if you have any question, you can ask to Dipanshu. Obviously, they are coming up with a detailed session on the on Django, Python, and using the cognitive intelligence solution with camera, and how you can build great project with it. You can partner with them. But if you have any question at this point, you can ask them directly. Any questions?
Any questions, guys? What technical stack will the tutorials include? So basically, we are including the Docker, Django, OpenCV, and deep learning. Obviously, we will initiate with the, like, we are not sure. We are just thinking in a way, like we will be first focusing on the algorithms and the competitive programming part, and then we will focus on the computer vision. Like the details of the course, like the tech stack and everything, will be published on fifthIR.com shortly, like in a couple of days. But until I can just tell you, like we will be focusing completely on computer vision and integrating with different kind of tech stacks like Docker, Angular, and Django, as well as JavaScript as well.
Yeah. Any other question? So we've already shared the secret code also and the TDP AI.
So
So if I
basically,
really want to learn Django, yeah. So because everything on the fifthIR.com is based on a part like it's a mix of series and specific session. So once they share the complete topic, they will have a separate session set for Django. So whenever there is a Django session is coming, you can use that. So the code is for claiming the certificate, which is here TDB AI. You can simply use it. TDB AI. Go to fifthIR.com. Dipanshu, you can share your screen. Go to fifthIR.com.
yeah, sure.
You can
Just
show
hold
them
on.
how to claim it.
Where
As
heading?
no. So you just have to put your name and the request your certificate. In the request your certificate name, you just have to put your name, phone number, email. Just put some text. You don't need to submit here. And then and then the email, test email, anything. Please accept. Click next. Please accept, and then click next.
You just have to write the code over here.
Yeah, write the code over here. Copy and paste the code, and don't do the submit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is all. Once you submit, you will get the certificate in 2 minutes, like less than a time that it takes to build a Maggie.
Thank you, Aishwarya, for your appreciation.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ashwin.
So thank you, everyone. If you have any question, you can, obviously the team will be joining on Telegram channel also, Multi-Cloud for You Telegram channel also. Bhaskar has already put that in the chat window, and obviously you can join the Telegram channel, being any question that you have. Thank you,
Thank you so much,
Arshil,
guys.
Dipanshu, Nikhil, for a nice session. This was really
Thank you so much.
interesting. Yeah,
Thank you so
had
much.
some issues, they got disconnected, but anyway, thanks everyone.
Thank you for providing us the opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you everyone.
Have a nice night.
Thanks, man.
See ya.